Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. Uneducated Network presents Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton, and I do apologize for the voice. I've just been, not say sickly, but I've been having the sniffles for the last 2 days now, so my voice is going away with it as well. I don't know what's going on. I'm taking care of my body. Lots of medicine. Lots and lots and lots of medicine. I hate the way this hat is looking, by the way. We're going to go ahead and do this right here. The shadow is just bothering me. How about we do this instead? Yeah, I'm feeling like doing this today. So, excuse my French, y'all. Excuse how I got the hat backwards today. Yeah, with that being said, welcome to Uneducated Sports Talk. And we're going to talk about sports. That's what we do. But first off, this is Saturday, college weekend. It was kind of a lackluster weekend. Not too many top tier games. But we did learn a lot today. One, as of right now, Clemson is beating the heck out of Virginia Tech. It's not even a game. I hope it'll be kind of a tight game just because of Virginia Tech's defense, but Clemson's defense and then their overall game plan for offense is just amazing. This team right now is looking like the best team in the nation. We learned that too. We also learned that LSU freaking sucks. Pretty much it. That's bottom line. They lose to Troy at home, 24-21. Troy just went 4-8 2 years ago in the Sun Belt Conference, and now this team is beating supposed to be a premier top tier team in the SEC in LSU, and now they're looking like have most opponents of them say LSU because I don't know who the team is. Les Miles leads, Ed Orgeron's a coach, and they look decent in the first couple of games against poo-poo teams, and then they get into the first game in the SEC and get smacked by Mississippi State, who's also showing that Mississippi State isn't that good because they lost 2 in a row against teams in the SEC as well. So it's in 3. What we learned is the SEC now is just not good anymore. There's Alabama, who always keeps it afloat. Then there's Georgia, and everybody else is kind of like mid-level teams. We saw when Ole Miss lost to California last week that this team just doesn't look good. So this conference as a whole doesn't look good. So I'm not. This isn't 5 years ago where SEC was just the dominant conference. The top 5 teams could pretty much beat anybody else. Those days are over with. 4. What else did we learn in college football? Well, we learned that Washington is pretty freaking good as well. Right now, they're beating somebody up 28-0 as we speak. I believe it's Oregon State. Washington's looking for real. And then 5, we learned that USC isn't as good as we thought they were. 6, Georgia is as good as my man Brian Wilkinson thought they were as well. So if you want to hear our recap for week 5 of the college football, check out probably Wednesday morning it'll be uploaded. Check out Casual Football Talk with college football, hosted by me and Brian Wilkinson from Base on Balls, our baseball show. So college football has been very interesting. Like I said, we saw that Clemson is probably the best team. Alabama's right behind them, and then Georgia's right behind them. So it's a lot of things that we learned this week, and we also learned that Saquon Barkley just stamped him in for Heisman already. He had a 98-yard kick return to start the game off against Indiana today. Penn State and him, they're rolling on all cylinders. So they won 45-14 against Indiana. So we're learning a lot of things. It's starting to shape up now in the college world about you're definite 1 through 10 pretty much. You know who's going to be there and who's going to scratch and claw to get there. So I'm very excited about this. Right now, it's looking at a good 7-8 team race to see who goes to the playoffs. So, baseball news: the Boston Red Sox have just clinched the AL East. This is the first time in their luxurious history that they've clinched back-to-back seasons. That kind of baffles me. I'm like, whoa. I understand the Yankees are just that freaking good back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, 60s and the 80s. I don't know about the 70s, but 60s and the 80s, and of course the 90s. Those guys have been dominant, but you're like, Red Sox have been here since the 20s, it feels like, or maybe before that. And this is the first time they ever won an AL East back-to-back here, so that kind of baffled me. But they have won it, so that secures them. And with the Indians winning today, they secured the #1 seed, so that's The number 1 seed is the Cleveland Indians. Number 2 is the Houston Nationals. Number 3 is the Boston Red Sox. And then we'll find out who's number 4 when the Yankees take on the Minnesota Twins on Tuesday for the wild card spot, the one and done game. I love the way baseball does that. I wish they do a best of 3, but that's not my opinion. That's my opinion, but that's something I want to see. More baseball than that, more drama, but it is what it is. I am going to game 2 of the Astros versus the Red Sox. So that's going to be an awesome game to go to, awesome atmosphere, awesome feeling. So I am hyped for the American League. And then we also get the National League. The Colorado Rockies clinch with their victory. They clinch, not with the Brewers' loss, excuse me. Brewers had a 6-0 lead against St. Louis and blew that. So their chances of getting into the wild card game are done. The Rockies are moving on to face the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't know when that game's going to take place, but Arizona's the team to beat out of those two. I think the Arizona will win that game. I believe, in my opinion, I think the Yankees beat the Twins as well. But right now, the number 1 seed is the Dodgers for sure. Then you get the number 2 seed, the Nationals, versus the Cubs, the defending champions, the 2 and 3. And then, like I said, the Diamondbacks versus the Rockies. Whatever you get, the Dodgers are going to get someone in their division. Right now, they've been struggling against both teams as of late. So whatever you get, they got to get ready for it, because the Dodgers are going to get their hands full, especially with the Diamondbacks. They had the Diamondbacks, but both teams look like they're poised to make a run in the National League as well. So other news in baseball, Aaron Judge has hit his 52nd home run of the season. Man, look, if he's hitting 52 home runs in his rookie season, can you only imagine when he gets mature? He's already matured. I'm not saying as in his how he carries himself, but as his body forms out, he is so freaking young. And when he finally learns the game, he learns certain pitchers, he learns certain rotations. He's going to be a monster. 52 home runs his rookie season. Just imagine when he's in his 5th, 6th league. We're talking MVPs out the yin yang. And then John Carlos Stanton, he's trying to get 60. They were winning big against the Braves, but 6-0 at one point. I don't know what the final score was, but he was over 3 with 1 strikeout from that time. It's looking like he won't get 60 today, but hopefully he can get him 60 tomorrow. And hopefully he gets the 63 that he really, really wants. But sooner or later, he's going to break all the records, because that's just another power beast with John Carlos Stanton. So I'm liking that, but I cannot wait for the playoffs. The playoffs is always a magical, memorable time in baseball. The only time I'm really glued, unless I'm at the game. But when it comes down to that, I'm really, really glued to the playoff games, and I love it. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about what I really want to talk about, what is on everyone's mind, has been talked about across the nation for the last, it feels like 2 weeks now, when President Donald Trump went out and called all the NFL players who were taking knees, basically said, get those SOBs out the game, they need to be fined, that kind of stuff. And it struck a nerve throughout the community with the NFL, throughout the players and the owners. And so that being said, all across the NFL, teams have been taking knees, or they've been doing something either before, during, or after the national anthem, just to show protest. Before we get this started, people have to realize, the ones who don't like it, the ones who say we're disrespecting the flag or they're disrespecting the anthem, hold up for just a moment. It is nothing about that. A lot of these guys respect the anthem. A lot of these guys respect the flag as well. They respect their country. This is all about protesting. This is a protest. That's all that's going on. People are saying that it's being disrespectful. No. There's a protest. And when you protest, you want people to talk about it. You want people to figure it out. I don't like that every single time players of color go out and try to present themselves in a non-violent way to protest something, people say, oh, no, not like that. No, not like that. So every time they do something, they say, not like that. It gets to the point where, when do we do it? Because even when we go out there in the streets and we talk about it, or we have communities and they talk about it, people are still saying, no, not like that. It's getting to the point where some people, and let's be honest, a lot of white America, they don't want to see black America get together and, protest. It's not all, trust me. A lot of my good friends are white people. Just saying that in general. But it comes to the point where it's not about the flag anymore. It's about the person. Hatred is not, you're not born hating people. It is taught. So if you are taught to hate people, you can be taught to love people of all skin color. Regardless, there's a lot of hate in this world. And I've been part of some of the hatred. I've had my days where I got pulled over by a police officer for no reason, just being black on a Friday night. It is what it is. I understand that. That there's still hatred in the world. And sometimes just because of your skin color, people look at you differently. People have to understand, when you hear black on black crime, it's offensive to black people. There's only 13% of African Americans who make up the United States, only 13%. So there's obviously a lot more white on white crime. There's obviously a lot more white on white violence as well. But when you put it down to the Latinos and the African Americans and everybody else in that community, we're looking at it as the gangbangers, and we fill up about 50% because the America puts us in these poverties or in these projects, the projects, to where it's a slummed down village. If you put anybody, whether they're white, black, yellow, green, orange, in a secluded area, in a bad neighborhood, bad things will happen. It just so happened that black folks and Latinos are the most common to be in the projects or in bad neighborhoods, so bad things do happen. So with that being said, what Donald Trump said was very offensive. Very offensive. When the Nazis were having their wars, their protests against the Jews and people of all colors that they just don't like, Donald Trump said some of those guys were nice guys. But he never said it about the NFL guys. You don't know those Nazis guys, and you don't know the NFL guys. So why would you not think that the NFL guys are nice guys as well? One, we're not doing anything violently. I haven't heard a single one of these guys say anything about a certain race. No one say anything that they don't hate they hate white people. No one said that. They're protesting for equality in the world. We as black people want to be treated just as fairly as the other races when it comes down to certain issues. We want to be treated fairly, plain and simple. One time, a quick story, I was picking my mother up from church, and it was right before, I believe, Super Bowl 50 or Super Bowl 49, I believe it was the Broncos and the Seahawks, when Peyton Manning and the Broncos got blasted. I was picking my mother up, and we picked her up, and we were driving back home, and this cop pulls me over. I see his lights flashing. It's like for no reason. I'm doing the limit. I'm in my brand new car, so I know nothing's wrong with my car for sure. It's a brand new car. I only had it for a few months, but it was I have a 2014 Chevy Cruze. So it's a nice car. So I knew nothing was wrong with the car. So I'm driving, and I'm on the left lane. I'm on the left lane. So he flashes his lights, and I look behind. I said, okay, well, let me find the next spot to turn left, because we're on a small little lane where there's two lanes, and I don't want to be going up and down or stop in that area because I'll block traffic. So I took about another 10 seconds, and I turned left. And then I turned left into the little median area, and he pulled me over. And he was hollering and screaming about what is the first rule when you get your license. And I'm like, in my mind, I want to say celebrate. You celebrate when you get your license, But I didn't say that. I was just like, I don't know, sir. I don't know. He just kept saying, like, he must have been high on crack or PCP. I don't know. But he kept saying, what is the first rule of driving? And I was like, I don't know, sir. I didn't know. So my mom could tell I was getting very angry, and I really wanted to do something about that. I was getting very frustrated with the guy. All of a sudden, he said, well, license and registration, sir. So I slowly go in my glove compartment to get my license. Well, he pulled out a gun real fast and like at my head, it's really at my head. And I'm like, whoa, I'm just getting my license, sir. I'm getting my license. And my mom is kind of praying it on the side, because she's always heard about these things going on, but she's never been a part of that. She's never seen me in action. I always tell her, hey, sometimes there just aren't that many good cops these days. She holds my hand. He said the first thing you do when you're driver's ed, getting your license, is when you see a cop and he puts the lights on, you pull to the right. And I was like, to be honest, dude, no one ever told me that a day in my life in driver's ed or after I got my license. But I think just because of my color and what I was wearing basically just a white beater and a hat, but I was just chilling. It was a Sunday, it's Super Bowl. So that being said, he knew what was going on, he knew what he was doing, and pull a gun out. That in that situation, anything can happen, and so I feel bad for the ones who have gone through that situation, and the bad things happen when they do die or kill. And that is what people are protesting for. They're protesting for equality because they know the inequality of the world. That is what we're protesting for. We're protesting for to be treated like the other races. That's all we want, to be treated fairly. Right now, African Americans, and whether you believe it or not, because as of right now, if you don't believe it, you are very naive that that African Americans aren't getting treated as fair as white people. Let's just be honest. Another situation under my job, and I'm working my butt off to get this promotion, and I've been there for 4 or 5 years now. Never been late. I always stayed on time. I always came in when they needed me to, and I was trying to get this job, this promotion, and it never came through. They always put in non-experienced, I'm just be honest, white people in front of me. And I was always wondering what is going on, because I've been busting my butt to get to this area, to get to the spot. And everyone around you guys are saying I deserve it, and I know I deserve it, but at the same time I kept getting looked over. Things like that happen because of your color of your skin. And that's the wrong thing about America these days. We are the land of the free and the home of the brave. Well, sometimes African Americans don't feel like we're actually free in this. Yes, America is the greatest country in my opinion when it comes down to your freedom and your rights to do what you want to do. So when guys do things like this, like kneeling and protesting in a non-violent way, why are those guys being ridiculed? Why are they saying, don't do it like that, don't do it like that? No. Do it how you want to generate buzz. And then Donald Trump, as our leader, as leader of the United States of America, he wants to divide everyone. How you go ahead and say the Nazis are some nice people, but then black NFL players are a bunch of SOBs? That is what I don't get. That is my problem with this whole situation. And for people who are actually saying, yay, Donald Trump, you get those NFL players for doing that. They're disrespecting the flag. No one is disrespecting the flag. The flag is there because we know what the flag has done. We know what the flag represents. We know what the guys out there in those wars did for their lives for us to have freedom. They did that for us to speak our mind, to protest how we want to. No, that is why they done that. They didn't do that for people to keep saying, no, you cannot protest, or no, you cannot do this and that. No, those guys fought for us so that we can voice our opinions how we want to without being ridiculed. No one is beating anybody up. No one is cussing nobody out. They are just kneeling for the anthem. They're probably saying the national anthem in their head. They understand that. And let's just be honest. In 1776, whatever it was written by Francis Key Scott, or Scott Keys, whatever his name is, black people were still enslaved when that came out. So originally, that anthem was not made for black people. Let's just be real. It just wasn't made for black people. But that being said, stop acting like we are hurting people. We are not. Black folks are not hurting people by kneeling. The NFL players aren't hurting. They're just trying to make a statement. And we need everyone to understand this, because if we don't come together and, if we don't come together and ride this out, then as individuals, we'll fall. That's how it always goes. Boy, Al Pacino said it best in any given Sunday. As individuals, we'll fall if we don't all come together. So it's getting to that point where crazy things might happen, but we gotta understand that we have to come together, whether you're black, white, yellow, green, orange, blue, it doesn't matter. We all have to be on one for my generation and my next generation and the next generation and the next generation to feel safe. Right now is the key moment to come at one. Everyone come together, and we have to understand that no matter if you're black, white, Asian, Mexican, Latino, whatever you want to be, African, doesn't matter. We are all still under one God. one God, one nation, one love, one heart. You know what I'm saying? So we all have to come together. Or individually, we will fall as a nation. It is what it is. That is my rant. I think Donald Trump should apologize, but he just won't. He's just that kind of guy. He's basically an asshole. A lot of guys are like, yeah, he says what he wants to say, but as the president, you can't divide this country. You got to bring us together, and he is not doing that one bit. So hopefully he's gone in like 3 years, but that's just my opinion. For those who don't like it, it's just my opinion. Say what you want to say. Like, comment, subscribe to Uneducated Sports Talk. Check out Uneducated Network and subscribe to that as well, where you can see my show and many, many, many others. So I'm very excited. We'll talk college football on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. But we'll talk basketball, football, baseball. Baseball starts up Tuesday for the wild card game. Get ready for that. Sorry for the rant. I had to talk about that. It's been on my mind for the last week now. So, like I said, like, subscribe, comment, check me out. Uneducated Network presents Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton, and as always, sports fans, you know what time it is. Stay smart, stay uneducated. Peace. Get rid of Donald Trump. Please get rid of him.